Yes, yes, people, welcome back to another stream. It's another episode of the Tone Show. Sorry for the slight delay. Si's having issues with his audio, so in the end, we just thought we'll leave him and just go our separate ways. He's there trying to fix it, so hopefully he can join us when he gets that sorted. But I am joined by Pat Mancunian Way. Pat, how are we doing, man?
Oh, good, thanks, LB. Things are doing well over here. Yeah, thank you.
Good.
Well.
Tone.
All good, mate. All good. And yourself?
I'm all right, man. I'm feeling good. You know what I mean? Obviously, Liverpool last night getting thumped 3-0. That was a madness. I don't know if you guys actually remember, but do you remember when we played at Atlanta a few years ago in the Champions League? I know it's been a few years since then, but I remember that first 25 minutes from Atlanta at the Etihad. I've never seen a team press us as aggressively as they did that night. And when Liverpool got, I know it's obviously been years since then, but like when Liverpool got drawn against them in the Europa League, I thought, I wonder if that might be a little bit of a dodgy game. But obviously I didn't really say too much because it was years ago, so I didn't know how Atalanta played. But clearly Atalanta yesterday, Scamacca as well turning up and was unbelievable. And their season now, I mean, it's hanging by a thread, isn't it? I mean, if he leaves Klopp this season with just a Carabao Cup, that's not really ideal, is it? So there's a lot of pressure on him to win that Prem.
Yeah,
well, I think Karl Walker's proved it by saying that clean sheets against Atalanta ain't for everybody. So you know how it is.
Very true.
Yeah,
I had to squeeze that in. I just had to.
Yeah, why not? But 5 of 8. I know I keep rattling on about this, but I didn't realise 5 of the 8 seasons Klopp's gone trophyless. And if he only ends with the Carabao this season, that's 6 of 9. Yeah, well, not trophyless, but 1 Carabao and 5 trophyless, which to put him up there with the Peps and Sir Alex and all that sort of stuff is, not in my view particularly smart.
No, not at all. Let's talk about this FFP because the rules have now been changed. Well, they've been changed going forward. They've not been changed retrospectively. And basically, it's going towards the UEFA model, which is like a squad cost ratio where you can only spend a percentage of your turnover. I'm not a massive fan of it, but I wondered, Tone, I mean, you've seen a lot of this. You've seen it develop. What's your thoughts on this? I mean, is this just more of the same? Do you think it's fairer? Should we as fans accept this? Is it still bad for competitiveness in the game? And how as City fans do you think that we should be feeling about this, bro?
Well, 70. I think it's 70% for the teams in Europe, 85% for the teams that are not, isn't it? So they're trying to address that balance, that 15%. Now, whether the teams that I think that's right. Do correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 70 Europe, 85 not. So
it is, but then over the years, it's going to come down. It's like a stepping stone. Right. So it started at 80, and then it's going to come down and down and down as the years come on towards I think they want to get it to around 60%, 65%. But obviously they can't do that overnight, so they're gonna do it year by year.
Yeah, next season's being used as like what they're calling a shadow season, isn't it? And then it's being brought in the following year, which would be 25-26. But I'm not a fan of these regulations anyway. I don't like it. Newcastle are the prime example of one that have an owner that probably has, or owners that have money and funds and resources more than anybody. And yet they are capped and limited to spend. I know they have spent some money, but they are still capped and limited to spend certain amounts of money, which the rules had changed conveniently just before the transfer window to stop them spending further funds to compete with the cartel clubs, the so-called big six, of which City are involved. So I'm not a massive fan of these rules anyway, but if there are to be rules, and on the face of the rules, the 70-85, just to begin with, at least they're acknowledging the teams that are not in Europe. I'm sure those not in Europe will say, well, no, it needs to be higher and bigger and what have you. And I have seen fans saying that of Forest and some of the other teams in the Palace and so on. So I agree that there probably has to be something in place in terms of these things, but yeah, I don't know really. It's a weird one. I'm not a massive fan of the rules anyway.
I it's just like I just don't agree with it personally because like so now you're making it based off of turnover. Luton Town never gonna have the turnover of Man United, Man City, Liverpool,
No.
Newcastle. Even Newcastle's like they're just not. So it's like how are we basically now just saying that that's it? The dream is over for these clubs because the only way, right, really, you can win the league is if you spend money to invest in you. You need the best players. It's not. It's not. That's just a fact. I mean, by the way, it's probably always been like that. Yeah, I mean, if you look at when City are obviously now successful, we spend not the most money, but we're up there certainly. Ferguson used to spend money. Liverpool used to spend money. Whenever teams have gone through good periods, they've spent money. And now you're basically saying, no, you can't spend money because it can only be a percentage of your grow your turnover. Well, how do you grow your turnover? You grow your turnover by getting sponsors, but sponsors want clubs that are at the top. That's why they're willing to spend the most money. That's why teams are giving Real Madrid, Man City, and now Arsenal the most money because they know that these teams are going to be going far in competitions, that they've got a global reach because of the TV. Yet again, City, I don't know if you've seen this in the City Real Madrid, most views in England or over the Arsenal game. Was it the Arsenal City game? Most watched football match in United States. That's why sponsors are willing to pay so much. So I just think personally that yet again, this is just another glorified. Oh, we're doing it to protect the clubs. Well, actually, you're not. You know what I mean? This again is just going to keep the clubs at the top already at the top. And by the way, City are part of that now. So from a City point of view, like I'm chill with the rules, but as a sort of football fan in general, and someone that wants to see competition and wants to see clubs like Luton go on and win the league, like how cool would that be? Like this is bad. This is bad, Pat.
Yeah, look. Excuse me. Sorry.
It's you hear me okay?
It's just another one of those things where
we can hear
you look at it and you're thinking another system that the Premier League or the FA is putting in place to protect big clubs or protect every club, but then you turn around and go, well, look what's happened with Bury, look what's happening with Bolton, or what happened with Bolton, look what's happening with Reading, and you're talking about are you really protecting all clubs, or you're just thinking about those that cover the most important fixtures every weekend, being the Premier League clubs. So does it actually offer a trickle down effect? Is the Premier League sort of cleaning up the mess that's left behind itself, because there is the fear of the possibility of independent regulations coming in or independent regulators coming in to try and make this a bit more of a level playing field. I really don't know, but at the moment, the system isn't working. I think it's amazing how you've got a club with Newcastle with their certain owners, and yet the Premier League has a goal to have a system in place where it's basically like the richest royal family in the world is told, oh, you're only allowed a certain amount of pocket money with your sports club, like as if it's like a parent and a teenage child. Like it's just remarkable how how you wonder what I'm not saying like who are they protecting or anything like that, but is it going to allow are we going to be allowed to have a bit more financial liberty of clubs to be able to do certain things, to be ambitious, to go for certain things, to ruffle the feathers of the big six? It's so complicated, and it doesn't need to be. And I think now that fans are starting to wake up to it and realize that maybe my club made a mistake actually agreeing with the Premier League to impose these FFP or PSRs, whatever they're called. So people are starting to realize now that there's actually more to it. And I think the longer and longer that this continues to pan out, not just our charges, but I think the fact that you seem to be getting a new sort of recycled story coming out, or something, some sort of change or some sort of regulation being altered or something about FFP, about PSR, people are just going to get absolutely sick of it. And I saw the chat before we jumped on before, and 90% of the messages were just like, I'm bored with FFP now. And I don't even know how many of those are Blues. There's probably some of them that just say, I'm tired of this. We want to see changes. We want to see a clean slate and an opportunity for everybody to have a fair go. And if it has to be an independent regulator, then that's it. You need to stop. It basically it's like regulations that are created by some form of an establishment, And that whole slate needs to be wiped clean, and it needs to be brought in by people who are going to follow the rules to the T, rules that are going to be followed black and white, minimal loopholes, minimal grey zones that people can exploit. And it's got to be it's got to be a bit more of an open and free and independent sort of game for everybody to play. And if people and if a club or an owner wants to be ambitious, then they shouldn't be handicapped. They shouldn't have the FFP ball and chain around their ankle. Let them have a go and be ambitious and see what it brings you. Because one thing's for certain, if it does come off, you're going to be classed as an immortal to that fan base that you're creating so many dreams and so many wonderful ambitions for. So yeah, the more and more stories that come out, the more and more it just frustrates me, and I just bored with it, really.
Yeah. No, listen, I'm with you, man. Like, at the end of the day, why should an owner not be allowed to spend the cash if they wouldn't spend the cash? And people will say, "Oh, but look at Bury and look at these clubs." How many of these clubs, right, went bust because FFP wasn't there? Because I can tell you for facts that Bury owner, yeah, that was due to poor or inadequate like new owner checks. That wasn't due to FFP. That was just because the guy was just like not the right guy for Bury. And he should never have been allowed to take over that football club in the first place. Like, at the end of the day, yeah, if a club's making a loss and the owner stops putting money in, then you're going to be in a bad situation, regardless of what the FFP rules are. This is why I'm kind of like, it's just ridiculous, man. And it's just frustrating me because we've been speaking about this for a decade, and you touched on it, Pat. Like, fans of other clubs are now starting to chime in and get frustrated at it. And the most annoying thing is they're now looking at City going, fucking City this. It's like, we've been fucking telling you for a decade, mate, that these rules are a load of bollocks. No one listened because all you did was listen to Gary Neville and these sort of people on mainstream media who said it was a great thing because why? Because it protected Man United and protected those clubs. But actually, you should have just fucking opened your eyes, looked at what it actually was, and made your own decision rather than just being a sheep. Now it's affecting your club. Now you suddenly wake up and go, "Oh, this is BS." Yeah, hello. We've been speaking about this for over a decade, mate. You know what I mean?
I think the club that's affected the most from it easily, without a doubt, is Newcastle, because to go from the Mike Ashley era, where basically he was probably one of the first people. If you're a fly on the wall in that boardroom when they all agreed on FFP, those few years ago. I reckon Mike Ashley would have been the first one to slam his fist on the table and say, yes, like, I vote for this, because then it just gives him an excuse to not spend money for players. Or he can just go every summer on a shoestring budget and say, I don't want to risk breaching FFP. So that was fine for him. Now he got owners who are willing to go and invest billions into the club. They want to upgrade the ground. They want an academy facility that's similar or on the same level as ours or Tottenham's, basically. And I just find it remarkable how, the PIF can come in and, offer the opportunity for their fans who have been sitting in the shadows for so long, trying to become a successful and a much more relevant club than they had been in previous years. And yet basically an organization is telling some of the richest people in the world that it's like, no, you can't spend your own money. Sorry.
Yeah, and Aston Villa.
There's some terrible sort of irony there to it,
Yeah, and Aston Villa are going to be next because they're competing. And the minute anybody competes, the rules will change and twist and turn. Villa are next, apparently, with some FFP trouble or what have you. So, or they're apparently on the grid for it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Whoever competes will be in trouble. City were the ones to sort of, well, Chelsea probably before, but in terms of the rules coming in properly, City were the first ones to get hit. Like LB said, everyone laughed, including Villa fans, very loud Villa fans in that League Cup final. Where is City spend, and all this sort of stuff. Where are your charges, UEFA, and then Premier League. And like LB just said there, now it's, oh, hang on a minute. No, we're done now as well. Yeah, you're having a good season this season, Villa. Yeah, Villa are having a good season. They make it into the Champions Leagues, looking pretty good. Doesn't matter, lads. The rules are going to change. So Man United, at some point, and Chelsea will eventually overtake you. That's what will happen. The same thing.
Si, are you here, bro? Can you hear us?
I am here. I hear you fine. Do you hear me?
Yeah, you're all good, bro. You have any
Good.
thoughts on? You have any thoughts on this rule change that they're bringing in for next season? I believe they're bringing it in for.
No, I think it's from the season after.
Or is it the season
Yeah,
after?
it is.
Yeah, they're gonna
Yeah.
give like I don't know what you call it in English, like, but a period of bridging, going from
Shadow.
thing to
It's
another.
a shadow thing next season. Yeah.
Right, like a trial year.
Not a trial year, just giving clubs time to like
Sort the shit
be.
out.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
So I don't know, man. As Patrick said, and so many others, I'm bored of it now. But I just think it will get worse every time you change something. There's always, we call it kid mistakes in Denmark when you start something new, and we kind of just saw it with the current rules when they actually started to be enforced. And I just think there will be so much more to this, and I think it will be way harder. Accounting wise, that's what I read, and yeah, I think it will benefit the big clubs again, and small clubs and fans of small clubs, maybe the wrong word, but smaller clubs think that this will be better. But I have a feeling that this will just extend the gap between the clubs, and then in a few years, all this will happen again. Fans of smaller clubs will be angry and wants change, and yeah, I just think we're in a loop of shit, which is not concentrating on football, but we are concentrating on the stuff around it, which I'm fucking bored, man. I've just went to Madrid. I want to talk about Madrid and football and stuff like that, not all this FFP. I'm tired of it.
The problem with the biggest problem with FFP, from a fan's perspective, is it's created another alternative view of fans that never really existed, in generations before us. Because the weekend fan never ever worried about what was happening in a boardroom unless it was like sacking a manager or a new transfer coming through. They're never talking about the economics of a football club or any financial breaches of a football club. It was never something that you ever thought about. And now it just seems like, unless there's actually football being played, it just seems to be something that we tend to dwell on, and just it just gets recycled and just pushed through the media agenda just repeatedly, to the point of where it's just like, is this real football anymore? Like, are we worried about the 22 players on the pitch and how many goals are scored and great performances and things like that? We're all worried about we're worried about what's happening with white collar than we are with what's happening with football boots and balls and goalposts.
Yeah, but it's the same with VAR, isn't it? I mean, VAR's the same nowadays. That's all everyone speaks about, is the VAR decision. That never used to happen.
You saw about the self-automated coming in for next season, yeah?
Yeah, I actually think that's a good decision, though.
It's a big upgrade. It's still a long way to go, but it's a big upgrade.
Yeah,
but it will take so much of the it will take so much of the attention of VAR, I think. Because the most annoying thing with VAR is probably when they're trying to judge these 1 centimeters of sides, and it takes so long. So this will kind of eradicate that, and it will speed up the game, which is a big improvement.
Yeah, guys, I've seen the upgrades automatic already. I was in Saudi Arabia for the Club World Cup, and there were a couple of offside calls on Fluminense, who we played the final. And even though they didn't show it on the screen, which is still frustrating, it was just bang bang. Like, I think within 15, 30 seconds, it was done. Like they said, there's a thing for an offside, and then before you even, I think I got sucked into the whole waiting around like we do for Premier League. And then I think I was chatting to a couple of guys there. Next thing you know, I looked around, I was like, oh, they've already been playing for 30 seconds. So it just the response time is way quicker. I still think they needed to do something about the interaction between the control room and the referee, so the fans can hear it, because the fans deserve to hear it. And then they obviously have to show. I think they have to show the replays on the big screens as well too. So they are moving in the right direction, but they've still got a long way to go. And of course, the finish line for this being a finished product is the system needs to be as black and white as, say, what goal line technology is. And until it is, it's always going to be speculation. It's always going to be up for criticism. So we're moving in the right way, but it's still a very, very long way to go.
Yeah, it's less power for the officials, and I think that's a good thing. When I say officials, I mean the people that are reviewing VAR, because VAR, for the most part, works. The cameras, all that sort of thing works. It's the numpties in my view, this is just my view, the numpties running it that seem to sort of mess stuff up. So the less power they have to make decisions, in my opinion, the better it is for the game.
I think one of the
gives
reasons
them
that they
less power.
fucked stuff up those so much, Tony, is that they didn't stick to the original plan. The original plan was it's coming in to overturn huge, clear, and obvious mistakes. That's what the original plan was, and that's what people got on board with. But I knew this was never going to happen, and hence why I've always been against it. They don't do that anymore. They re-referee football matches. They go back 10, 15 seconds looking at a slight 50-50 tackle on the halfway line. Also, it was that's the issue. They should have done what they said they was going to do at the time, which was bring it in for clear and obvious decisions. And what they should be doing is, when they're at the monitor, the referee should ask himself, have I made a clanger? And unless he says yes, he shouldn't change his mind. Because that's ultimately what it was brought in to do, but it's not. That's why we're getting so many VARs. That's why it's so objective, because they're not doing it for clear and obvious errors, which is what they said they were going to do. How many times do you hear someone say clear and obvious now? You never hear it because they don't do it anymore. We heard it for the first year, and then since then, no one ever mentions the words clear and obvious because they just abandoned it. And we've now gone into a situation where they're re-refereeing football matches, which is not what they were meant to be doing.
And creating sub rules from it as well. Sub rules that you never existed before VAR. The other problem I have too is before VAR, and this was the beautiful thing about the game. And I said this on our Mancunian Way show a few hours ago. I said, I'm going to quote Oasis lyrics: "True perfection has to be imperfect." And before VAR, it was you once every I think every match day, it wasn't your team, but it was always at least some other team on the weekend over the match day may have had some dodgy decision called against them, and it might have been the difference between them getting a point or no points at all, 3 points, whatever. It completely changing the results of the game. Fans usually would kick and scream and have a bit of a whinge and a moan about it for maybe 24 hours or until the end of the weekend. But by the next weekend, it was done. Or by the next match day, it was done. They never talked about it again. Here we are, since VAR's come in, we still talk about the decisions against Tottenham, from 5-6 years ago in the Champions League. We still talk about, that decision that Liverpool had, which was horrible, that against Tottenham earlier this season. That'll be talked about for another 5 or 10 years. You know it. And I know for a fact that if VAR didn't exist, they wouldn't talk about it they probably wouldn't talk about it from next season onwards. It's just completely changed the landscape of basically how we view, what might have been sort of situation. It was just forgotten about in history. It was just forgotten about. And now it's just, it's because it's such a volatile topic of discussion that people are always going to bring, poor decisions back as a way to sort of justify any sort of argument or any sort of discussion that they have. And it never existed before VAR came in. You got over it. You got over it and you just moved on.
I agree. Listen, I want to move it on to some transfer stuff. Before we do, guys, please make sure you've hit the like. I forgot to ask you. Please hit the like button if you've not done so already. Over 350 people tuned in. Let's get those likes to at least 150. Please hit that thumbs up button, man. Massively appreciate the support. Let's come to some super chats as well. Pitbull says Paqueta had a stinker last night. Thought, he didn't play particularly great, but I'm still set on him. I'm still set on Paqueta, regardless of how he played in
he was playing away against one of the best teams in Europe too, who are just absolute.
And Moyes set him up.
The setup isn't fit for Paqueta.
You watch Leverkusen at times. You're like, why are these guys in Europa? They should be in the Champions League. I know they will be next season, but that's so good.
West Ham, Moyes always sets West Ham up that way. West Ham have got some amazing attacking players. And I know they'll say we won a trophy. I think we're in the top 7 or wherever they are. It's not a bad season by any stretch, but I always think Moyes holds them back and a lot of their players back. Sorry, just a random West Ham one.
No, it's chilling. Let's have a look what Akash says. Big up to people up for the super chat. Akash says the regulations are not tight enough, LB. We will end up with an independent regulator. All these changes do is slow the journey towards it. Yeah, we're definitely getting an independent regulator. But don't City want an independent regulator? Is that right?
Yeah, we were one of the first to ask for it.
So there's certain clubs that don't. You can probably guess who they are.
Yeah, we're seeing it the way that the financial regulations are sort of moving towards benefiting sort of a certain demographic of clubs, basically. I don't want to go into too much details, but you catch my drift.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Big up Akash. There you go. But I agree with what you're saying. And Dr. Footy says, we will smoke that Arteta pack for you. 115 Bozos says Dr. Footy is a Villa fan. Big up to you, bro. He's putting in mad super chats. Right, let's speak about transfer news, guys. I don't know if you've seen a couple posts coming out over the last days. We've had links to Musiala. Obviously, Lucas Paqueta has been heavily linked, coming out in the Athletic, saying City are all in for this guy. And Tolmy come out as well yesterday and said City expect this summer to break the club record £100 million fee they paid to Jack Grealish. Now, this is a single fee, guys, so this isn't our total spend. Now, we know that's not Paqueta because Paqueta's got an £85 million release clause. So... who is City going to sign that's going to cost over £100 million? Go on, Pat.
Two options. One's either named Musiala or the other one's name is Neves. Because Musiala is going to be well over 100 million if we get him, if we decide to go for him. And João Neves, who from reports that Cheeky has had a few talks over the last few weeks with Benfica about the availability of João Neves, he does have a release clause of approximately £103 million. And if you have a look in the recent tabloids as well too, apparently the United have been swooping around a little bit as well.
Do you really think they would spend over £100 million on João Neves, which is undoubtedly big talent, but so unproven? I mean, I can't imagine that. I really can't. For me, there's two possibilities: Musiala or Birds.
Because I've seen him play,
and I don't think we're getting anyone.
He looks fantastic.
Yeah, but see, the big difference of being good in the game. You're not watching every game in the Portuguese league. And
I understand that,
but
he's a box-to-box midfielder.
Yeah, but that's still
such when you want to rest him. He just looks so damn good on the ball.
But Pat, over £100 million, and another record-breaking signing. It needs to be something more than just a talent.
Well,
which have one season behind him. I mean, it really does. I can't imagine Klopp going for him.
Yeah, there is some talk though that Burnley could be involved in something, but I'm not so sure. You know, in terms of Neves, in terms of Bernardo going there, I don't know about that and whether that'll happen. But I agree with Si. Yes, there's a release clause. Chicky loves a release clause, but over £100 million, £100 million. I think it's more likely to be Musiala. I think Si said Wirtz as well. I don't think he'll move this summer. Bayern will want a fortune for Kimmich. Probably wouldn't. I don't know if it'd be 100 mil, but I don't see Musiala moving. To be honest, I still think he'll stay at Bayern Munich. I think agent's going to love it these next couple of months. He's going to be throwing out City have been in contact. I'm going to Manchester on a flight next week. You know, he gets seen in Manchester Airport. All the usual tricks. I might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see Musiala or Kimmich leaving Bayern.
Might be Bruno Guimaraes then. I mean, that probably, for me, is the most likely. Because I agree with you, Tone. Musiala and Birch won't leave this summer. But how are you so confident on that? Why wouldn't they leave? Who? Birch would be staying with Alonso. He's
I thought you said Musiala. Did you not say Musiala and Kimmich? No.
Yeah, no. Birch and Musiala, I think, both staying. And Musiala due to the recent news about him signing a new contract.
No, so I agree with you. I think Xabi Alonso wants to see how far he can take this squad of players that he's got, and it looks like they're probably favourites now for the Europa League. And given the quality of football they've been playing in Europe this season, and the way that they do their business too, like, you know, for all you know, they could actually add more to their squad next season, and they've got some of the best scouts in Europe because they proved it by the quality of players that they've got. I think Xabi Alonso wants to see how far he can take this current squad in the best competition, and that being in the Champions League.
Yeah.
So I think he wants at least one more year with this Leverkusen team. If they do well, then their stocks are going to be just as high as what they are now, and it's a perfect financial turnover for Leverkusen to go reset, rebuild, and have it and go again for try and find the next group of superstars to take them further in Germany.
Yeah, the only way Wirtz moves this summer is if someone goes absolutely nuts and goes and literally throws in 130 mil or something absolutely crazy.
Tone, if Germany win the Euros, I think Bayern come in for like 150 million.
I
You
think he's
reckon?
destined for Bayern.
Yeah,
I
because
think
then that's it.
I think
He's basically he'll be at Bayern until he's 35. That's just how I see it.
And
Yeah,
Germany's
no, I agree.
shown
becomes
that
Germany's
they
new
can play
pin-up
both.
boy, guaranteed for at least a decade.
And
I
Germany's
agree with
shown
you.
that they can play both right at the same time right now. Germany's playing both Musiala and Wirtz at the same time. So if they win the Euros with them playing at the same time, Wirtz might be going to Bayern next season.
It just screams at Bayern.
So who do you guys? So if I come around the panel, then I'm going to start. What the question is, this £100 million player, which one is it that you think we're going to sign? I actually think Bruno at Newcastle could be the one. He's got a release clause, 100 million quid. He's got Premier League experience. Pep clearly likes him. It just seems like a City, and obviously, no disrespect to Newcastle, but he'll probably want to move on because he's not got Champions League football next year. So I'm going to say, if I've got to pick one, not necessarily that I want, but which one I think it's going to be, wouldn't surprise me if it's Bruno at Newcastle, you know.
Yeah. I agree.
Who would you pick? Which one do you think we're going to go for?
Look, I think Bruno because of the Premier League experience, but I want it to be João Neves. That's just how I
want it to be João Neves.
I want it to be João Neves.
So I've never seen João Neves in the flesh. I've only seen him on a compilation video on YouTube. Like, what do you think what does he bring then? Because I guess most people in the chat probably like me, where we've not really seen him play.
Yeah.
Like, from someone who's seen him play, like, what would you say? Like, do you think can he play six? Can he cover for Rodri? Can he play further forward?
From what I saw when I saw him against Inter, he played everywhere. He was box to box. He was playing in front of Otamendi, feeding basically receiving first passes from out the back. When they were going forward, he was basically sitting on the 18-yard box, similar to like what Gundogan was doing. He just has this incredible sort of, again, size right, small sample size, but he just from what I saw, his versatility. He just seemed to be everywhere, and he was picking out space in the midfielder, similar to like what John Stones or Rico Lewis does as well too. The guy just seems to have a really, really good football brain, a fantastic engine, and the kid's only 19. I think he turns 20 in June or something like that. And on top of that too, he'll learn. He's already learning from Rodri because he tucks his shirt in when he plays 90 minutes as well.
Okay, it does seem a lot of money.
I was really impressed. I was really impressed with the guy, and against quality opposition against like Inter as well too. Like, is he physical? He shows a lot of potential. Yeah. Is he physical? And we're not afraid to go. We're not afraid to go for young players with small sample sizes as well too. Leroy Sané really only sort of hit his straps with Schalke for about maybe a season and a half before he came to City.
Yeah, but how much was that? Like 40 mil.
Yeah, well, 40 mil, but different climate back then too. I mean, that was before PSG had forked out 200 million for Neymar, which for me changed the landscape of transfer fees forever. Or has changed the landscape since.
Interesting. Okay.
And Neuer too, as we know, Benfica are a very, very hard sell. They're just the Portuguese Borussia Dortmund. You know what I mean? It's like if João Neves is a Borussia Dortmund, guaranteed they'd have a release clause for about the same there too.
Yeah.
Or if they didn't, we probably wouldn't be able to get him out the door for no more than 120 anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So you think it's going to be Bruno, but you want João Neves. Sai, what's your thoughts, bro?
Probably will be Bruno, but the tweet did say we would break the transfer record, right? And if João Neves and Bruno Guimaraes have a release clause of 100, won't be breaking it, will we? So if we're thinking like that, it should be a player who costs more. And then I'm straight back to Musiala and Wirtz. But as I said, don't think they're moving. And then which else players do we know that would go for more than 100, which we need and which would improve us? And then we are then it goes on to the unlikely situations like, I don't know, Vinicius Junior. Yeah, exactly. All these stuff, right? And that just won't happen. So either Tommy is not correct about us breaking the record, but the tweet might be saying 100 again or something, right? And then I think it's Bruno Guimaraes, and I still think it's too much money for him. I think there's better alternatives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Tom. What do you think we're going to do?
That's why I didn't say. That's why I didn't say I wanted to bring Bruno, because it just seems, just when you think he's playing good, he just seems to have too many stretches of inconsistency.
No, I agree. Whenever I've watched him this year, I've not been that like impressed with him.
No,
but
wait, guys, wait. Look at their midfield this season. It has been destroyed by injuries all over the season. Like you can't expect such a pivotal player for the system of Newcastle to perform consistently when their entire squad is just done with injuries, and especially the midfield. I mean, we should not judge Bruno Guimaraes on this season. Definitely not. I think that would
I get what you're saying, side too, but we could also say the same thing about Bernardo stepping up when De Bruyne was injured. So,
but still not the same with the team.
Yeah.
We weren't riddled with the same.
Midfielder, he should be able to stand up.
Nah.
He should be able to stand up and you know.
That's what it's called.
It doesn't blow me away when he plays us. That's also a factor as well.
But you can't say the same, Pat, with us having one long-term injury and a very, very established squad and the best manager in the world, and Bernardo stepping up to a team which is, I'm sorry, it has almost no quality players, but the entire squad is riddled. So you go down to the third and fourth choice for almost each position and ask a person to step up and carry it. I think that's not fair.
No, that's fair enough, side. But I think if I'm paying 100 million for a midfielder, I'd want it to be a midfielder that can step up in those situations.
But
and I don't know if we can do that.
That's true. Like we don't know yet because he haven't been playing at the level we expect.
Of course. I think everybody can elevate their game to another level once they're under Pep's tutelage.
But I agree, 100 million is too much.
At the moment, right now, I'm just not sold on him. That's all.
Give me Kimmich and then just settle this. Kimmich.
Optimistic until I'm not
Kimmich, man. I just want Kimmich.
Kimmich is the cheaper option.
I'll be too, mate. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Kimmich would be.
Yeah.
Bruno G. I just don't see City paying 100 or over 100 million for him. It's just ludicrous.
But do you see him paying 120 for João Neves?
No, I don't.
That's 120. That's 120 million euros, so it's 103 million pounds.
I still don't see him paying that.
I don't see him paying that for him.
Money. No, I'll be honest. I don't see who, where, or why City would pay over 100 million for anyone that I think will be available in the summer. Yeah. I think it was hinted at here. I'm not questioning Tommy's info or anything like that, but who are they're not going to spend. This is just my view. They're not going to spend 103 million on Neves. It's not going to happen. They're not going to spend 106 or whatever it is on Bruno G. Again, my view. The only player that, if they are available, that they may do is Musiala. And that's if he's available, as we previously said. He is the only one that they will spend over. Oh, and Wirtz, but that probably won't happen. But in terms of it may happen, even a small chance, I would say, is Musiala. If he really kicks off in the summer, a new manager comes in, he says, no, I still don't want to stay. And they buy and go, right, over 100 mil, which they will then go and buy Wirtz with, no doubt. So if that is the only player, in my view, they would spend over 100 mil on. And do you need Bruno G as well if you get Paquetá in, which it looks very likely if the betting stuff stops, is cleared.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me come to some of these super chats, and then we'll move on towards the Luton game and get some
just
talking.
Quickly too, I was going to say too, one thing Musiala has for him that the other two don't: English quota.
Correct.
Sure. Yeah.
Apparently, Pep is like proper wants him. Apparently, Pep really wants Musiala. They just kind of get him in. But yeah, good point on that, Pat. Pitbull says, "Have you seen the Pep press conference quotes?" No, but I'll bring them up on screen as we speak about Luton in a second. Pitbull. I've just seen one thing there about Rodri. We'll go through that in just a second, bro. Big up for the super chat, and big up to Ozzy as well, man. Says, "Big up my main man, Pat."
Hey.
The Mancunian way. João Neves is my shout. He's the perfect 6'8" player to come in. Great show, guys, from Aussie with a 5. I need to watch him. Like I said, I've only watched like the YouTube compilations, which, you know, let's be honest, you could probably make Tone look good at football if you did a YouTube compilation there.
It's the Slovakian EDM music that they put in the background. That's what does it for me. Yeah.
Hey, I was all right back in the day, LB. I tell you now, mate.
Yeah, whatever, man.
We all could have been professional footballers, right?
Yeah. You were just another Josh Kimmich, weren't you, mate? A right back who could just
Injuries
roll in
stopped me, Pat.
roll in the midfield whenever he felt like it. Yeah.
Just a hamstring stopped me. That's all it was.
Oh,
Yeah.
dear me. I'm sorry, Tom. That was cold of me. That. Big up Ozzy for the donut. Ozzy, if you ever want to come on the channel, by the way, drop me a message and we'll get you on, bro. Right, let's have a look at the. Let's have a look at some of these quotes from the press conference, and then we'll speak about sort of Luton more generally as well. See if there's any news coming out here. There is actually. He's been speaking about Rodri as well, so that could be quite interesting to hear the lads' opinions on that, and Edison as well. Yeah. So he says we'll have. He says on team news, not really sure. We have training this afternoon. We'll know better how they feel this afternoon. We can't drop points. We know that. Here we go. Rodri. So he says this on Rodri. He says, I didn't speak with him. If he needs rest, he will have rest, or no. The games he's tired in the second half, he's better than the first half against Palace and Madrid. Not physically, not physicality, but more mental energy. He is so important for us. We'll decide tomorrow. Lads, I want to come to you guys on this one. Maybe start with you, Si. Do we rest Rodri for tomorrow? Because for me, bro, if you are going to rest Rodri, I think tomorrow's the last chance.
So our stats without Rodri this season is not good. Is it like 4 games without him, 4 losses? And
is that factual information?
That's factual information.
No. Well, Premier League.
We lost against Newcastle in the cup, and we lost 3 times in the league when he was out, wasn't it?
What about Luton?
Was it 2?
I'm not going to count Newcastle because obviously
that was in the cup as well. The Luton, the 6-2 against Luton was in FA.
Young boys won, Red Star won.
Yeah, but I meant where he was had his suspension, right?
Yeah, 2 suspensions, 2 losses,
and we didn't. And there
yellow card suspension, lost.
Yeah, and we lost to, wasn't it Newcastle somewhere in the FA Cup?
Beat Huddersfield, beat Luton. And lost to Newcastle.
No, Cabao, that's one. Yeah, Cabao.
Yeah.
So 4 matches without him, right? Suspended, and we lost. And we're at the point in the season where, even a draw will feel like a loss. But yeah, I will still rest him because this is about taking risk, and if he's tired, which we have seen signs of, and he knows his body better than us. And it could be more detrimental to play him. And I do think we have the qualities and the players to be able to win against Luton at home. We did play them in the cup away without Rodri, and we blew them away. So why should that not be able to do that again at home? So yeah, I would rest them. Yeah.
Yep.
Take a chance.
And their away form compared to their home form, they've conceded 11 more goals away than what they have at home. So their defense is way more leaky. They haven't had a clean sheet since last year. So they'll be worried about what they're doing as much as whether Rodri's going to be on the pitch or not.
Yeah, if you can't beat Luton without Rodri, you do not deserve to not only win the league, to win any game between now and the end. Rodri, do I think he should be? Yes. Do I think he will be? I don't. I think he'll start, and I think he'll play an hour, and hopefully with 2 or 3, hopefully. And then he'll come off. But I just got a funny feeling he'll start.
You can't start him, man. You can't, bro. The guy's knackered, bro.
Yeah.
He is.
You could say that at this point in the season could be huge for the run-in. Could be huge.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to take that risk against Luton because if it was Luton away, it'd be a completely different story.
Agreed.
Yeah. Because the way they set up at home is completely different than what they do away. So we got that. We've got that luxury at least. But that's it's a risk, but it's worth taking because you look at the remaining fixtures. You can't do it. You can't do it in any of them.
But we've been talking about.
I really do.
So we were talking about taking risks, both in how we play, how we line up, and stuff. Right. We're at that point in the season, and we saw Arsenal against Luton. Was the last game we got, or the one before? They rested all their key players for that. Rice as well in midfield, and they still won 2-0. We should be able to do the same. I do still think we have a better squad compared to them quality-wise. So if they can do it, we definitely can. And it might backfire on us, but I think it's something we're at the point you have to take risk it to get the biscuit. You have to. And we have 13 possible games left. And I don't think he can play 13 games in a row, 90 minutes. I don't think he has it in him.
He can't. And you know what, as well, Si? Yeah, I'm not being funny, right? But if these players know how important Rodri is. The players know that Rodri is the best team in the world. If these players can't band together for 90 minutes to beat Luton at home, to be able to give Rodri a rest, then that's just embarrassing, man. You know what I mean? They need to put in the performance to allow him the rest. There's no excuse, man. We're not talking about a lot of bums that are going to be playing. We're talking about £50 million Nunes. We're talking about experienced professional Kovacic. De Bruyne is probably going to play as well. Like, I'm not having that. There's an excuse if we can't win this game without Rodri. Like, the fact that we're even having this discussion, to be honest, is kind of embarrassing. Like, I might end this. I might actually have to just end this conversation right now, boys, and move on to the next bit because I can't speak about this. It's actually embarrassing how we're speaking about we're not beating Luton without Rodri. Like, I can't do that with the treble winners. We can't beat Luton without Rodri. Just fucking and just fold the Premier League season. Right. Let's move it on from that bit. Ederson is apparently going to be back in goal tomorrow. That doesn't come as any real surprise to me, to be honest with you, because I think he should start tomorrow. I think Ederson should now return to the team, and Ortega's done well. Yeah. But for me, I think Ederson should come back into the team. Anyone on the panel disagree? No, everyone agrees Ederson should. Okay, cool. Let's see what else.
Hopefully Luton put a few in between, like long passes or in between balls, just to get some momentum in Ederson's legs. Although it is Ederson, so he'll probably go for a wander in midfield on a couple of occasions for no reason anyway. So he'll be right. He'll be right.
I love Ederson. I love him.
Yeah, we're not getting any injury news about the defenders, which is interesting. So I was going to ask you guys how you think we should set up for this game. Does Rico Lewis come back into the side? Because I think I might put Rico in.
I'd love to see the Rico and Bob show again.
Probably.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I'd probably rest John Stones because if you remember, he did have some tightness towards the end of the game at Madrid.
Yeah. He might also rest Guardiola because before the Madrid game, like he had a bit of a niggle and just made it for the game. And if he's not 100% fit now, I think it's a big risk. If Ake is not back for the Madrid game, I think it would be a big shout to risk Guardiola. I know, but see, that's where I come in with it. So who would then play left back? And then I'm doing LB. Maybe doing Nunes on left back or Gomez. Like we're out there. Yeah. We're out there.
I don't know. Kanji's played at left back. He's an option too.
Yeah, but he will be playing in the middle.
In the middle, yeah.
You can't play Stones, man. You can't play Stones, man. He had some tightness at the end of that Madrid game.
It would be Diaz or Kanji, but like.
I think you just have to send Gvardiol side. I don't think you've got any option. I think you just got to send him in and just hope for the best, man.
I wouldn't. Not if Ake won't be back for the Madrid game. I think.
I know, but what can we do, bro? We can't
just
play
coach you. Well, you can. This is a game where you actually can do it, isn't it?
I think the key is the score.
You wanted to play him at right back for big games. Villa. You want him to play against Villa on right back, and now you're second questioning me playing him left back against Luton. He played left wing, which is more than what he'd done with you when you said he hadn't played right wing. So at least I'm still in the side he played there. See, now you're not even second guessing me, you're second guessing yourself now.
Yeah, it's business end of the season. That's what happens, bro.
Yeah.
You start second guessing yourself.
Look, I don't know how we're going to set up, but if there's two options that I like that are kind of a win-win if we see them both, is if we see the Rico and Bob show, I'd love to see that again because that link-up play that they had against Palace was fantastic. You didn't have to have been following City for 10 years to realise that those two had come through the academy. They were just telepathic in the way that they linked up. I know Bob dropped off a little bit in the second half, but that first half or that first, say, 50 to 60 minutes of the game, they were just on a level with each other. Also, the other option I like too was what we had against Villa, where we had Grealish on the left and Doku on the right, who really should have been playing more matches on the right for me, Doku, because that's what his natural position was. When he played at Rennes, given when he was at Rennes, he only played over 1,000 minutes last season, but it was still naturally his position coming off the right. But what I love most about Grealish on the left and Doku on the right was it was just that perfect balance of control on the left, but then a little bit of chaos and a little bit of an up in tempo on the right hand side. And it was just there was a good balance of a bit of both, and it wasn't like the tempo was trying to take over the control, or the control was trying to slow down the tempo. Basically, it just created a really good balance on both wings for us. And I think it was part of the reason why we played so well against Villa. So whichever one we go with, I'm happy with, because to me it feels like a win-win situation.
I think Doku will start because he hasn't kicked a ball this week. Palace or Real Madrid didn't come on at all, so that's quite telling as well. I think, which is interesting. Oscar Bob does, but Doku doesn't.
I think with Doku and Bob, I'd start them both.
I would. Doku and Bob.
Doku, Bob, Kevin De Bruyne, and then the question is: do you start Alvarez up top, or do you start?
Do the thing, because I have to show it to you. I'm gonna show you what I mean. You're gonna like this, LB. Okay. You're gonna be like that.
I'm loading up the tactical pad, bro.
Big Daddy calls again. Let's do it.
Here we go, man. Right, I got it here. Let me get this up on screen. Right, there you go. Right, talk to me, Si. What do you want me to do?
Well, get that awful batch away first. Thank you.
I have to say, ooh.
Brother, ooh.
You want it? You want it? I'll do it, bro.
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
Love it. Okay, so Ederson in goal.
Yeah, Ederson in goal.
We do Rico Lewis on right back.
Rico Lewis right back.
Yeah, we do Akanji right-sided centre back.
Yeah.
And we do Diaz left-sided.
Yeah, because I don't play him at Madrid, by the way, against Madrid. Just FYI.
And then we play Nunes left back. You're gonna like this.
Are we doing?
No, wait. It will come.
Okay.
Relax.
This is size team.
Yeah.
And then we play cover in midfield with Kevin De Bruyne and Alvarez. It's going to be so good. There.
This is not happening.
No, wait. Maybe this is if Guardiola can play, right? That is like a contingency. And then we're playing Doku, Bob, and Haaland.
Doku on the left or Doku on the right?
Yeah.
For this game, with Haaland, I should play Doku on the right and then Bob on the left. Because I want those crosses and like tip-ins in the back area.
Although say Lewis on the right, you'd want Bob on the right though too, wouldn't you?
They did great last time. Yeah,
but I mean they alternate anyway.
Yeah, whatever they want to do there, that's not important thing here. And then we will have Lewis inverting into midfield and making a double pivot with Kovacic, allowing Kevin and Alvarez to push up. And then you will actually be playing Nunes almost as a left-sided centre-back. He has the speed and he has the physical appearance to do it. This might be what Pep will go with if Guardiola can play. I can see this happening.
The percentage chance of this happening, bro, is 0.0000.
If this happens now, LB. If this happens now, oh my God, I'm gonna decorate this entire wall if this happens, LB.
Zero.
So I was gonna get it tattooed on his back.
Yeah.
I reckon it'll be Gvardiol on the left.
Yeah, it's Guardiola's playing, man. He has to play. You just got to listen, bro.
Yeah.
Gvardiol
contingency was he's not playing, right? If he can play, that would happen, I think. But I agree. This is what we should be doing if he can play, of course.
Yeah, Nunes for Haaland out, Alvarez up, and Nunes where Alvarez is or was. That's what I think it'll be. Something around that.
It'll be like that, won't it?
Yeah, essentially like that. Yeah, that's what I think it'll be tomorrow.
I think that's what it'll be as well.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
I don't know where Bob might play on the left. Bob might play on the right. Same with obviously vice versa with Doku. But that's how I think we should set up.
You don't think Haaland will play tomorrow, even though he was rested for the what was it for the Villa game? Yeah.
I just think again,
you need confidence. Like he needs confidence. And last time he played against Luton, he scored 5 goals or 4 goals. How much it was like?
Honestly, bro, I don't massively disagree. Like I'm happy to play Haaland, but then you're gonna have to drop Nunes or Kovacic.
Why?
Probably Nunes.
Because Alvarez has to play. Really, you can't not play Alvarez.
Well, then again, we're back to my formation. If Guardiola can play, then you just go back to the left side of the.
Why can't Kovacic give Kovacic a rest? Drop.
Does he need a rest? Come on, he hasn't.
Well,
been
not
playing.
a rest. Drop him then. Just say you don't fit the system and just play that system then with Alvarez and De Bruyne and just.
Nah, that's not enough security in midfield. I think
we're playing Luton at home,
Yeah,
man.
with Rico.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, Rico.
But Rico and Kovacic will provide the sufficient cover for not having Rodri. I don't think Lewis and Nunes will.
So
we should never
Luton will
underestimate
have to
anyone.
come out and have a go. Luton will have to have
we
a go.
shouldn't
They can't-
underestimate any team. Like when we played Luton that game, they had loads of chances. We shouldn't underestimate.
So would you do that, Si? That midfield?
Yeah, that would be if Guardiola's playing. Yeah.
But you're telling me
something like
Nunes.
that.
This is the thing I don't get about Nunes. This is why I always talk about Nunes. You tell me Nunes can't do that role against Luton at home. You tell me he can't do what Kovacic can do tomorrow against Luton at home. This is why I have a problem with Nunes, and everyone says, stop hating on Nunes. Oh, hate on him. I just like, whenever I speak about him, no one puts him in the team. You're telling me that we can't put Nunes in that Kovacic position tomorrow at home to Luton and just say to Nunes, all your job is to be a bit more defensive, let Alvarez, De Bruyne, and maybe even Rico Lewis go forward. You're just the protector, the destroyer for one game.
Well, we can ask him to do it, but the probability of us conceding goals or being less defensive solid will just increase. So we might get away with it, but I do still think we should have some respect for the opponent. And I would not drop Kovacic when he's
You've got your number one
keeper. This is respective, but I wouldn't drop Kovacic when Roger ain't playing.
You can't say that's not respecting Luton.
It is because we have no other options, but not playing Kovacic would be for me a mistake when we're not when we don't have Rodri, we're just a different team, aren't we? So, and I do think that
on that side. But my point is, like, you're telling me this midfield and this defense is not capable of keeping Luton out.
No, I'm not saying we're not. I'm talking about percentages for if we concede or drop points, it will just that will increase if we're not playing Kovacic. So I'm not saying we're not capable of doing it, LB. I'm just saying not playing Kovacic in there will decrease the possibility of us getting away with it.
Yeah, I think Kovacic will play. I said this before Palace on the last show we did Friday before. That if Nunes does not start any of those next three games, which was Palace, he was never starting Real Madrid, and Luton, big questions have got to be asked. Because if he's not being trusted against Palace or Luton when other players need a rest, and I know it's the first season and all that sort of stuff, but even players in their first season were playing far more than this. And he has to step up now. And people say, oh, well, Nunes, he's not getting starts, so we don't know. But there's a reason why he's not starting. He's clearly not showing in training what he can bring to the team. So Nunes, I hope he starts and I hope he plays well. If not, question marks on him big time.
Okay. Well, this is the team I'd go for, personally. I think that's more than capable of getting the win. And I think it has enough security. But any other thoughts on Luton before we wrap up, boys?
Well, what was I going to say? Just quickly, I think we're halfway there. As long as we shut down from their players from their squad. What is his name? Adebayo and Morris. They've scored 9 goals each this season, which equates to 40% of the goals they've scored in the league. Just for the lols, I just wanted to mention too that Luton has scored 45 goals in the Premier League this season. That's the same as Manchester United.
Wee. Love it.
For a team that's 18th in the league, they're actually 11th for goals scored, equal with Bournemouth, Brentford, and United.
Yeah, it's actually mad, isn't it? They've done a fantastic job.
They're a plucky little team. Yeah, they're a plucky little team.
They are.
I still think that their home form is will determine whether they stay up or not.
I think if they stay up,
anything they get away from home is a bonus. Yeah.
Yeah, I think their manager should be up for manager of the season anyway, but he should bloody win it. If Luton stay up, when they come up, everyone was like, that's one spot gone. They're down no matter what. I'm looking at them now. Let's hope they don't. But if they win, they go above Forest and Everton, dependent on results. It is an enormous game as well for us, LB. Sorry, I was just going to quickly say, because we can go top with Arsenal and Liverpool playing Sunday, and there is a chance, without disrespecting Luton, to close that GD on Liverpool, which is 2 ahead at the moment. So if you can put 3 or 4 more past Luton, it just puts that extra bit of pressure on Liverpool and Arsenal tomorrow as well. It's an enormous game this tomorrow, enormous.
Yeah, just on that, what Pat was saying, it looks like Adebayo's out.
Okay.
With an injury.
Wow.
So who's the other guy,
Wow.
Pat? Who slams?
Carlton Morris. They've both scored 9 goals each.
Oh, Cabore's out as well.
Oh, yeah, because
he's not able
because
to
the line
play us. He's just
This
not
is one of
able to
ours.
play us.
Lakonga's out. Marvelous Nakamba's out. Right, they've got quite a few injuries, you know.
But Barkley's still playing, right? And he's been doing
Barkley's
very
fit.
good.
Yeah, Barkley's fit. Yeah, we got to get the first goal for me. If we get the first goal, I'll be shocked if we don't go on to get the 3 points. We get that first goal, we should go on and take control. You know, we kick on, but the longer it stays 0-0, obviously it's the same pretty much all the time, isn't it? But that's the worst it'll probably get.
If you drop points home to Luton, you're not winning the title. It's as simple as that. If you drop points tomorrow, even a draw, title's done. I don't care how Arsenal and Liverpool do on the Sunday even. You have to win this game. It is fundamental. It's a must win.
Tone, just reiterating what you're saying, we do not deserve to win this if we cannot get 3 points against a team that hasn't had a clean sheet since 2023.
Wow.
Simple.
There you go. Yeah.
The last time they had a clean sheet was New Year's Eve, and they had that shock 4-0 win at home against Brighton.
Yeah, Jesus.
That's the last time they had a clean sheet.
Let's see what happens tomorrow then. Let's go to some more super chats. Big up everyone that's sent a super chat in. Please make sure you've smashed a like on the stream, by the way, if you've not done so already. Free way to support the channel, and make sure you subscribe to more LB as well. Good numbers in here as well, man. Big up to everyone for tuning in. LB says Echeverry goal was fire. Mate, I seen it this morning on Twitter. This guy, what a player. He's doing this in front of 85,000 fans, by the way, in South America. Like, this isn't doing it like a local park. Like, he looks like a phenomenal player. He's going to go to Girona when he comes to Europe, which is obviously good, and then hopefully he'll come to City.
Yeah. Talking of Argentine players, by the way, guys, sorry, just wanted to say, all 3 of you, anybody in the chat, it's me, LB can attest. I'm a massive traveler. I travel as much as I can. I promise you, Boca Juniors or River Plate, it is bucket list football. You have to go and see it once in your life. Oh, yeah. No other atmosphere in world football comes close to me. It's unbelievable. So, like I said, for a young player like that to be banging in goals in front of 85,000 crazy fans, it's one thing as a player, but it's one thing as a fan. You have to go see it. It's absolutely spectacular.
Him going to Girona makes perfect sense as well for half the season. Get him out there, get him out, let him hopefully do well, come back to us for a pre-season, perform in the squad. The boy. I talked to a couple of people who watch Argentine football, very familiar with him, say he's going to be a superstar. This lad, he's going to be brilliant.
Well, he was meant to go Barca, and Barca couldn't get him because of the finance situation. That's why City managed to swoop in. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting that. Let's see how he gets on anyway. Bill to with another one says it's Luton Brez, play the academy. That might be a disrespectful. Size looking at it going, shaking his head, going, fucking idiot. Dr. Footy says, Si Guardiola treble charge, we will be there. Bray says Dr. Footy with the super chat. And Wolves F1 says, does City going game try to narrow Arsenal's lead in goal difference? Just 11 goals. It's easily catchable in the last 7.
It's not easily catchable.
Yeah, it's not easily catchable. It's catchable. I think if there's any chance of us doing the goal difference, I think you've got to smack Luton for 4 or 5. And they don't typically get smacked for 4 or 5. They don't. They're not a team that holds goals like Sheffield United.
It's only catchable if points become if Liverpool and Arsenal start dropping points.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And for the time being, we have to focus on points. We have to focus on only points right now and not goal difference.
Yes. Yeah,
the goal difference will sort itself out if we get the results, the favourable results. So I wouldn't even worry about GD.
Due to us not playing
in the previous years when we've been in league title fights, and we've always had the goal difference on our side. We never talk it as like, oh, it's an extra point. We just say, yep, it's a slight advantage. Let's move on.
Yeah,
it's just something for the record.
Yeah.
To be honest, let's be honest. The only time we've ever really truly had to worry about goal difference was 2012.
Yeah.
We all know what happened on the final day.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right, lads. Do you want to wrap up, or do you want to speak about Madrid? Are we all Madrided out?
Can I mention something just briefly on the FFP thing? I know I'm reversing it, but it's just one thing that I found out today when I was doing a bit of reading that just blew my mind. Man City's wage bill, including all Champions League bonuses, Haaland coming in, all this sort of stuff, all player-related fees, 423 million in the last account. Barcelona's wage bill is 520, and that doesn't include bonuses and all the rest. 100 million more than City. And now I know it's not exactly news that Barcelona are being run like bloody idiots, but that just balmy. Sorry, I just found that out and had to share it.
And they don't even have Messi anymore, right? Imagine the wage bill when Messi were there. I mean,
because even before they told the rest of the world that they were hemorrhaging money, they were well ahead of anybody else in European established clubs with a wage bill. It was something like between 82 to 85% of their revenue was on wage bills, because that's how they got the big players in. If you want to do comparisons at the time before they started getting to where they are now financially, I think the closest in terms of wage bill was like United, and they were in like the high 60s, like high 60%. Still miles away.
But
they've only got themselves to blame.
100%. Anyone want to speak about Madrid, or you want to wrap up?
Yeah,
awesome trip.
Yeah, go on, Si. Yeah.
No, it was an amazing experience, man. Like, I'm still a bit sunburned. It wasn't that hot, but the sun down there is so strong. And being with so many citizens, and I met so many more new. I'm heading to Luton for the game tonight as well. Well, the game's tomorrow, but I'm flying tonight and meeting up with some of the lads I met down there. Maniacs, all of them. So many crazy stories. Pat talked about going to rugby's game in Argentina, but I can say if we ever play Madrid again, I will be going again. Such an amazing experience, such a nice country, and cheap as hell compared to Denmark. So perfect.
Lovely.
Good.
I was really pleased with City's mentality second half. I'm so proud of the way they bounced back, and half time it was like, for Christ's sake, do you start bloody clicking into gear a bit? They were superb second half. I thought I was really pleased with them. Yeah, really happy.
Am I right in saying that we've scored 3 goals in every single Champions League match we've
had?
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
New record.
Yeah.
Another record.
Yeah, it's a record every time I play. I feel that. But
basically, the only way, if Law of the Land would suggest that the only way Real Madrid are going to get through in this round is if we only can score 2 goals.
Yeah.
Well, bad stats, I guess. Yeah, the statistics say that.
Yeah, I know.
So
the trend would suggest that. Yeah,
I think it was a great result, man. Honestly, I think it was a great result to go to the Bernabeu with the way they was hyping up the game. You know, the build up to the match, the roof, the fans, everything. It was just like, you know what I mean? Obviously, we had a few injuries. You know what I mean? Kevin pulling out with it. I mean, it. If you think about it, the story was there for City to get crushed. You know, all the build-up, Kevin pulling out, injury issues, the element of revenge. The element of revenge. It was like the storyline was there. That City go to the Bernabeu and Real Madrid get their revenge and beat us 3-0. And for us to come out there with a 3-3 and effectively just take it back to a one-off game at the Etihad, I think any City fan should not be looking at that thinking it's a bad result. And especially the way we played first half, because we could have been dead and buried at half time, really, the amount of chances we had. So, you know, we had an element of luck there. But I think I say all the time in this competition, I think you need a little bit of luck in the Champions League. If you don't get lucky in the Champions League, you ain't going to win it. You need a little bit of luck. And I think we got a little bit of luck in that first half. But as Tone says, second half, we worked so hard to get back into the game. And we still weren't great, but we did enough. And in the end, you know, probably should have won it, the position that we were in. But we'll take the 3-3.
And true, I mean, if anybody's got any doubts, then you've got to look at it. You've got to try and look at it like you think, like, 3 goals going back to our place, that sort of thing. Look at it from the Real Madrid perspective. Their fans, the club threw everything at us, and we still scored 3 in the Bernabeu. You know, go back to when the draw came out. I said this to Martin. I said to him, I go, you know, Real Madrid, that's going to be, you know, sooner or later we thought we were going to have to play them. But then you just took a step back. You thought, hang on a sec, start thinking like a Real Madrid fan. Do you think they wanted to play us at this stage in the competition? Hell no. Absolutely not.
On that, Patrick, actually, when I was down there, I was with LB, like I was nervous. Actually, I did an interview with CD Extra and predicted that we would lose. It just felt like that going up to the game. But when we arrived at the stadium and I talked with a few of the Madrid fans, they didn't have that aura. The stadium didn't have that aura of we are Madrid. No matter what, we will beat you. I didn't feel that when I was sitting there. It was loud as hell. Like whenever they decide to I don't know what that is. And what is that in English?
Whistling.
Whistling. Wow. Jesus Christ, man. Your ears is almost about to pop off. But they didn't have that aura. And that is a big, big, big shoulder clap to City, that we are not that big, that they don't just think, no matter what, we will win this against that team. I mean, that is huge. It's huge.
I feel like for them to become a formidable atmosphere again, they have to go back to the Galacticos sort of vibe, like getting your Zidane level players and your Figos and things like that. And if you get Mbappe in and then a couple of other big names, especially like maybe a huge big name defender or something like that, I think, you know, they're really going back towards the Galacticos thing. And sorry,
Davison.
Get Van Dijk from Liverpool, bro.
Oh God.
But they're getting
defenders. That's one name we didn't mention because there has been talks that City have been looking into Branthwaite as well from Everton.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, but I think someone in our back line needs to leave for that to happen. We got five defend. We got five.
Do they? Because I think Pep's a bit worried about Stones' fitness. You know, just can't go full season without having something happen.
I don't know.
But John Stones is an interesting one. Yeah, sorry, Albie.
Yeah, I think Frimpong is more likely.
I would love Frimpong.
Do you see how many goals and assists Frimpong has for Leverkusen this season from right back? 23 goal contributions, 12 goals, 11 assists. That's insane.
Just wonder though if he's going to be the same as Wirtz and not leave while Alonso's there. I think Alonso keep that
route. I think Frimpong would come back. He was a City academy lad. He'd come back, I reckon.
I'll just say what I said at the top of the show is like I think Alonso wants to take this group of kids as far as he can in the Champions League next season. Then he'll probably move on to Madrid or something like that.
But 35 mil is a steal.
Yeah,
I was going to say he's got a release, isn't he?
He's Dutch.
Yeah, 35 mil, which is
he feels quoted because he was at our academy for like 8 years.
Yeah. I remember watching him. He was good. I know he went Celtic. All right, cool. Right, well, we'll wrap it up there. Big up, lads. Thanks for staying on a bit longer. Hope you're chilling. Pat, and obviously Martin's took a little bit of time off. He told me that he's coming back soon. So what have you guys got coming up on Mancunian Way, bro? You got any shows planned?
Luton post-match Saturday night your time, Sunday morning over here. And then I believe we are back Monday night for Madrid preview. I believe I'll be jumping on with you again on Sunday night. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well? So FYI chat, this week's panel show after Luton's on Sunday because I've got to go out on Saturday. The panel show for the post-match game will be on Sunday night, 9 p.m.
Are you going to the game?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm working it. No, I'm doing the stream, bro.
Oh, I thought you said something about your girlfriend that you're going out after the game.
Not well, I am, but I'm not going. I'm going out with my girlfriend after the game, bro.
I'll find you. Get that beer. You still owe me.
Fucking won't. If you turn up, mate, I'm like, I'm like me, LB. I'm not.
Don't get him to Carlsberg side. Don't get him to Carlsberg side. Be more creative as well.
I'll find you.
That's brilliant. I'll come on with you, LB. I'll come on with you as well Sunday. I can do that.
Sunday night, cool.
Yeah. Monday night, Mancunian Way will be our usually around about 9:30 will be our preview for Real Madrid. So. Yeah, guys, keep an eye on that. Mancunian Way on YouTube. Yeah. Martin's usually the host, but I'm just quarterbacking it for the time being, just while he's just getting some stuff sorted out with his dad, just with the illness and that.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, and Si, I'll see you on Sunday. Enjoy the game, bro.
Yeah.
I'll see you on Sunday. And listen, lads, we're in the run now. Game every 3 days. It's coming thick and fast. I'm buzzing. This is what it's about. Absolutely love it. Tomorrow is a big one. Luton Town. We have to win. Nothing other than a win is good enough. We must win. And we're going to have to take a few risks as well with a couple of players being rested. It'll be interesting to see the starting 11. I'll be live, as always, at 2 p.m. tomorrow with all the pre-match build-up to the game and then the watch-along as well. Hopefully, you guys can join me if you're not going to the game. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. I'm actually out again tonight, so I'm going to get a little video out on the channel later on, and then I'll be back tomorrow with a live. Big up to Pat, big up to Si as always, and Tone. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.